1, 0. All right, pop into a little bit of a squat. Come on back up into standing and oh, I'm gonna crawl on over to our cameras. We started the lives a little bit ago. I wasn't able to get my YouTube set up. It is now connected and everything is fine. But we just got it started, so I'm gonna do the intro again. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching. We do this every single day to practice consistency and build a little bit of community. And what that means is we do a lot of side splits and we do a lot of stretches every single day, Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. What you're at right now is not 9 p.m. Eastern, it's 9 a.m. Eastern. So on the weekends, we do a different live at 9 a.m. And that's where you're at right now. We're hanging out, we're doing some stretches, and the goal here is to work on hip mobility, provide a space for all of us to practice a little, to make the suffering that we do for our hamstrings, for our hips, a little bit more bearable with good energy, good vibes, and hopefully a little bit of a schedule so you kind of add it into your day. So, if all those things sound good, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. Cool? Let's get to part 2 of our warm-up exercise number 2. All right, we were just in the elephant walk position, getting really mobile in our hamstrings. Now we're going to get right back into that same position. Our legs are hips width apart. We're going to fold forward. We're going to bend one knee. Right now my left knee is bent. I'm going to take my left hand from the bent leg side. I'm going to reach across to my right side. I'm going to push against that leg bone, and I'm going to help open up my chest and rotate that spine. This is called thoracic rotation. Just means the middle chunk of your spine is rotating, and we want to extend that arm behind us. We want to rotate our neck to look at that hand, and that's half of a rep. We rotate to one side. We got to do the other side. Right now, the right leg is bent. Right arm reaches across the left side. Open up that chest. Extend the arm behind you. Breathe. And that is 1 rep. We're going to do 5 in total, so we got 4 more to go. Keep going. Left knee bent, right leg straight, open. Once you reach what you think is your maximum on that rotation, I want you to take a small inhale and exhale. On the exhale, see if you can reach a little bit deeper. Other side. Whew, is that only 2? Have we only done 2 so far? We got 3 more. Let's go. 3. That's 4. We got 1 last one to do. And that is 5 to each side. That is basically all that we do for our spines, for the rotation. But your spines are designed to do a lot more than we normally do. Other than rotating, they're designed to sort of bend to the side. We already know about the slouching part, but they're also designed to open up that chest and bend backwards. So if you're not spending any time doing any of those movements, try to add in a little bit of movement for your spine, even if that just means you're making your hips dance a little bit or something else fun. Doesn't have to be every single exercise possible for your spine, just making sure your spine remembers that it's designed to move. Cool? Whew, that is our second warm-up exercise. We're going to move on into third warm-up exercise. I saw a big comment come in just a second ago, so I'm going to take a look at what that is. I saw you on a TikTok showing stretches for the hips that help foot pain. Been using them since. Oh, amazing, Juanita. I'm glad you found... I don't know what that was. Must have been a live. I'm glad you found the live. You enjoyed the Q&A probably at the end, and you're back for more. I appreciate it. All right, we're getting into the third and final warm-up exercise. It looks a little bit like this. You don't have to hop right in. I'm going to demonstrate first, all right? We're going to open up our legs pretty wide. Then we're going to try and drop into a one-legged squat as much as you can with this leg hanging out over there off to the side. This is our starting position. From here, we're going to try and bring our hips across to the other side. Chill here for a second, and then come back. That is 1 rep. It's going to be really hard for most of us to pop right into one of those positions, so we're going to pre-stretch some of our muscles. I want you to try and pop into a little bit of a squat right now. I want you to try your best to tuck your knees into your chest. I want you to lean forward so that your heels are up off the ground and you're feeling a stretch in your Achilles tendon, in your calves. I want you to lean forward a little bit because it tends to be the case. If you start leaning backwards in this position, you'll just kind of roll out, and that doesn't help your ankles get a stretch. Cool? Again, we're in this position, tucking our knees to our chest, leaning a little bit forward, having our heels off the ground, feeling that stretch. I'm going to demonstrate how we're going to transition from that position into Cossack switches. You don't have to follow in right now. I'm going to show it to you, and then we can do it together. All right? From this tucked position that you're in, I want you to try to experiment with little wiggles and stuff. When you're ready, we're going to extend our hands out in front of us. We're going to push our leg out. We're going to try our best to sit in a position where our heel is down on this power foot. All right? For some of us, you might be able to get super squished down nice and low. For some of you, you might need to be quite a bit higher, and that is absolutely fine. Whatever your starting point, from here, you got a couple options. If you're high enough, you might be able to just scoot across. You might need a little bit of help. If you need a little bit of help, you can try to fold forward and put your hands down on the ground to help walk your weight over to the other side. All right? And that's it. Once you walk your way over to the other side, pause for a second, try to sit a little bit deeper, work that hip mobility you're currently practicing, and come on back. That's 1 rep. All right, that's enough to get us started. So, everybody, if you're still in your tuck ball position, extend your hands out in front of you, extend that leg out to the side, plant that heel down however it is possible for you, and let's go. Lean forward, put your hands down, bring your butt to the other side, pause, try and sink a little bit deeper, walk your body back, and this is our first rep. We're doing 10 in total. As you get more comfortable with these, you might think, oh, I don't need to use my hands, I'm so strong. If that's the case, keep on leaning forward. Don't use your hands. When you keep maintaining that forward lean, you don't have to learn a new kind of balance. It's more natural because you were just leaning forward. And if you're feeling still really strong after that, you can try sitting up a little bit straighter so your torso is going straight up instead of folding forward. And keep on trying to sink deep into that stretch position on either side. You can extend your arms out in front of you to help counterbalance now that you're not folded forward. And I think we're at number 6. We got 3 more after this one. 7. If the inside of your knees are starting to hurt a little bit, you can try to come up first, come across, and then sink into that stretch. Then come up, come across, and then sink into that stretch. This is number 8. This helps take some of the pressure off the knee, on the inside of the knee, when you're transitioning from side to side, and hopefully will help you do a couple more. All right? Again, it's up, across, sit into it, come up, across, and sit into it. I think there's 9. So last one, everybody. We're almost done. And that is number 10. Those are our Cossack switches. And that's the end of our warm-up exercises. If you're wondering or thinking, oh my gosh, that's just the end of the warm-up and this is already crazy, don't worry. The warm-ups have to get us from cold, just waking up, into ready to stretch and ready to make the most of our time. So the warm-up exercises are actually pretty intense, and we have to get some blood flowing, get our muscles loosened up for the hard, intense stretches that's coming up. So the cardio portion, the shifting back and forth, that's going to pretty much be on, but you'll be feeling the tingly sensation of really intense stretches, and that's where a whole new type of suffering begins. All right, let's grab a sip of water if you need it. And the first stretch we're going to drop into is a hamstring stretch. The way we're going to set it up is going to look a little bit like this. We're going to have one knee on the ground, one leg extended out in front of us, and we're going to fold our belly button down to the thigh. All right. For this position, it might help if you grabbed a little bit of a cushion to pad that knee. And when you're ready, we will begin. I don't know if you've already grabbed your waters, had a sip. So I'm going to just adjust this block for a couple of seconds. Then we're going to get started. Cool? Whew. Let's go. If you have a big enough cushion to pad that knee for both knees to go on it, great starting point. If you don't, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter that much. I want you to try your best to have your hips
lined up, pointing forward. Your shoulders lined up, pointing forward. Your head pointing forward. From here, I want you to extend one leg in front, pointing forward. From here, if your legs are a little bit too close together and you're struggling a little bit with bounce, you can widen your stance just a little bit. Just no, don't be crazy. Don't extend it all the way to the side. That's a totally different stretch. From here, we're bringing the belly button down to the ground. All right, whew, that's the whole thing. I'm gonna spin this around so you don't have to stare at my head for the whole entire minute or so that we're gonna be in this position, and you get a more foldy angle. All right. If you have a leg that's a little less flexible that you prefer to spend a little bit more time on, I do a little bit more explaining for the first leg, so go ahead and switch to that leg. I just switched to my left leg. From here, belly button coming down. Oh, breathe. Feel that hamstring stretch growing. You'll notice maybe that in the elephant walk that you were just doing, you were folded way further forward and was way less uncomfortable than it is now. When we warm up, we gotta put those muscles to use immediately, because as soon as you start taking a break, you start losing the flexibility that you felt like you just gained after the warm up. And this is one of those moments. Now that you've taken a couple of breaths here, we're going to do a big inhale, exhale. All right, what does that mean? We're taking a big inhale. And on the exhale, I want you to slowly release the air. And when you're releasing, I want you to try and fold your belly button down to your leg. All right? I hope you didn't start because I gave poor instructions. We're going to do another inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Once you fold it forward a little bit, your hamstrings are going to be really tight. They're going to be really uncomfortable, and you're going to be thinking about how uncomfortable they are. If you want, you can grab those hamstrings, give them a light massage, squeeze them, take your attention off of how intense that stretch is, and keep on breathing normal breaths. Let your brain calm down. This is okay. It's all right. We're making it work. Cool, brain? Thanks, brain. Assist us in our stretches. Thanks. All right. We're going to do one more inhale, exhale. We're going to wrap up. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Bring that belly button down to the thigh. Keep going. I know it's intense. Breathe some normal breaths. And we're going to start a 30-second hold. Ready? 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. In this stretch, you might be tempted to really try to bring your face down to your knee or bring your chest down to the knee. And I want you to try your best to have your upper back area, your neck, be relatively relaxed. You don't have to scrunch into a ball for this stretch. It will make your back very tired, and it won't actually help you that much with the main important part of the stretch, which is folding at the hips. So, don't hurt your back. Don't work too hard. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. However, if you want to focus on bringing your belly button a little bit closer to your thighs, that is good. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on out of that hamstring stretch. We spent a lot of time working the hamstrings because there's going to be a lot of demand on your hamstrings in a little bit, and we're making sure that we're prepared for those as much as possible. Cool. Let's switch over to the other side. Other leg, extend it out in front. Again, make sure that you're not in a position where you're kind of doing something like this, where one hip is way out in front compared to the other. Pull that leg in. In fact, you might even want to pull it so far in that your hips are going backwards behind you. That might make the stretch a little bit easier when you're folding forward. All right? Bring your belly button down. Whew. Feel that intense stretch in your hamstrings. Try your best to breathe. Relax. Everything is okay. We're normal. It's okay. Convince your brain that this is just a normal position for you to be in. And we're ready to do some inhale, exhale. You ready? Inhale. Exhale and fold. As you slowly exhale, try to bring that belly button down deeper into a stretch. Once you're as deep as you can be, for the moment your hamstrings are feeling crazy, try to take some normal breaths and relax as much as you can. Maybe squeeze your muscles, squeeze the tight hamstrings, and just try your best to breathe. Okay. Hopefully you got a couple of seconds to relax there. We're going to do one more inhale, exhale. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale. And fold. Take some normal breaths. Relax. 30 seconds. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. 25. 24. 23. 22. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. If this is feeling really intense, that is by design. Don't worry. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on out of that hamstring stretch. Oh, if that felt crazy, that's a good thing. that was all of our hamstring stretches for the moment. Oh, breathe, relax, chill. Oh, groan, grunt as much as you want. That cushion that you were using, we don't need it anymore. You can toss it off to the side. Wipe off your sweat. Grab a sip of water. Do whatever you got to do. And we're going to move on into stretch number 2. If you're just joining in, you have no idea what we're doing, just groaning and grunting on the floor. It's because we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work every single day. And a lot of it is kind of suffering, just choosing to suffer on the floor in a deep stretch. So hopefully by doing it together live at a consistent time, we can build some consistency. We can make it easier to make some progress. If that sounds like something you need help with, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. And it's time to get to stretch number 2. Let's get into some butterfly. I recommend that you do the butterfly stretch against a wall, all right? And the reason for that is because when you have the wall supporting your back behind you, it helps you focus on the stretch that matters. And that is here in the groin, trying to bring the knees down into the ground, all right? When you don't have a wall behind you, oftentimes we kind of end up in sort of a rounded back position like this. And while we're trying to bring our legs down into a stretch, we're like trying to hold our legs in to keep us from rolling backwards. And that takes away from the important stuff, which is the groin stretch, bring the knees into the ground. So stick your hips, your back, your shoulders, your head all up against that wall. And we're ready to begin. If I sound a little bit nasally, if I'm a little sniffly, it's because I still have a little tiny bit of a cold, and especially when I fold forward, all of the phlegm in my lungs starts pooling in my nose. So even if I start the live well, by the time I get to the end, there's so much stuff where I'm kind of upside down that phlegm is building up in my face. So you're going to have to deal with it. Thank you so much. And let's get into the butterfly stretch. Pull your legs in towards your groin. And you might be feeling a little bit of pressure in your mid-back right now from that wall behind you. That's the wall keeping you in this upright position so you can focus on the stretch. Thank you, wall. From here, we want to use our outer thigh muscles and our glutes to help open up our legs and bring the knees down into the ground. When you're doing this, you should feel a little bit of a stretch here in the thighs and in the groin area. And that's a good sign that it's working. You're doing the right thing. From here, I want you to take your hands and apply a little bit of pressure just below the knee. Push them down. Breathe. When you do this, you might feel a little bit of pressure in your shoulders, in the back of your head. That's basically the wall keeping you from pushing yourself back so that you're pushing your legs down with as much of the power as you're generating as possible. Cool. Thank you again, wall. From here, we're ready to go. 30 seconds. 30. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Keep on trying to bring your knees down into the ground. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, let the hands go for a second. Your knees might pop up a little bit, but your legs might also not be working so well at the moment. Give them a little shake, give them a little wiggle, and hopefully your legs will wake up and you'll be able to move them yourself with your own muscles. Flap the wings of the butterfly, and if your legs are starting to move again, you should be ready to move on into stretch number 3. We're moving on into some pancake stretches. We got 2 options. You can do this seated or standing. If you're feeling real sore because you've been on the live a couple of times in a row now, because it's the weekend and you've been doing a lot of standing pancake, then try a seated pancake. If it's your first time getting into a pancake stretch, try a seated pancake. If you're ready for something more hardcore, we're going to do some standing pancake. All right? In the seated pancake, it is going to look a little, or in both pancakes, our goal is to open up our legs decently wide and fold as far forward, as deep into that fold as possible. And it is a really hard stretch. So we want to get in a position where gravity is helping us out as much as possible. Most of the time, when your upper body is kind of horizontal like this, that is when the most pressure is going to be felt in your hips, helping to fold you forward. All right? So aim to try and keep your back relatively horizontal. And the longer the lever, so if you extend your arms out above your head like so, the more leverage you're going to feel at the hips, the heavier it's going to feel at the hips. All right? That's it. We're just folding forward, trying to bring our belly buttons down to the ground as much as possible. From a seated position, if you got a stool or something to sit on, I recommend you just make sure that it is slid against the wall, slid against something sturdy, so that when you're leaning forward and you're trying to figure out how to balance and how to get deeper into a stretch, you're shaking your legs out and wiggling, whatever you're sitting on doesn't slide out behind you, okay? From this seated position and from the standing position, we're going to open up our legs as much as we can and still be relatively comfortable. And we're going to bring the belly button down towards the ground. We're going to fold forward. If you're in the standing position, you're trying to keep your upper body horizontal. If you're not in a standing position, you're in a seated position, you might want to elevate your butt to help get your upper body to horizontal. But if you're not quite there, it's okay. You can still relax into this stretch from where you are at. All right, extend your arms above your head, fold forward, keep on trying to bring the belly button down, and that's it. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28. I'm going to transition to the standing one. 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on out of that stretch. I said I would do the standing one. I did it for like 3 seconds, and then I realized, nah, my legs are kind of tired, so I went back into a seated position. Oh, but regardless of which one you chose, coming out of that pancake stretch might be a little bit challenging. So if you need to waddle around, if you need to kind of limp your way until your legs are back together, please, by all means, do whatever you got to do. It's okay. When we do the pancake, it's one of the hardest stretches that we do because it requires a lot of flexibility from 2 different parts of our leg muscles, and usually they both hurt. The hamstrings, once again, got a huge workout when you're doing the pancake because you're trying to fold your body down into your legs, right? It doesn't matter if your legs are together or if your legs are really far wide apart. As long as you're folding forward, as long as your hips are folding like this, the hamstrings are going to feel a crazy stretch. And hopefully you noticed that while we were waiting out the tension, trying to fold our belly buttons down into the ground. And that's also why we spent a lot of time warming up the hamstrings with the elephant walk, with the hamstring stretch, so that when we got to something really intense, like holding up our whole entire body weight with our muscles, those hamstrings would be ready for the suffering. And with that, we're ready to move on into stretch number 4. This 12 hours ago, we did the pigeon stretch. So today, right now, I'm going to do the pigeon. No, sorry, I'm doing the figure 4. Both stretches end up looking very similar. We're just, one version is our chest is down and the other version is our back is down. In both, we're bringing our leg across the body like this, making this thing that looks kind of like the number 4. We're bringing our leg up to our belly button, and we're bringing our belly button down to the leg, so that from the side it looks kind of like this. The goal here is to feel the stretch here in the glute, right here in the side of the hip. All right, and that's it. That's the whole thing. So for the figure 4, we're going to get onto our backs and do it from the ground. When you get to your backs, I want you to cross one leg over to the other side, reach your hand through the triangle you just made, reach your other arm around the other leg, and I want you to pull your leg into your chest. All right? From here, you're going to feel it a little bit here in the glute, but you're also maybe feeling it here in the inside of the hamstring. Those are all very normal, typical places to feel the stretch. Just lay back for a second, take some relaxing breaths, and pull that leg in slowly. Breathe and pull, and breathe and pull. When your legs are feeling that stretch, let's go 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. If you're feeling a little bit of tension in the knee right now, you can cup the knee and pull that knee in as well. You might be able to stick your knee into your elbow and pull on it. You might be able to cup it with your hands. Either way, you can feel free to give your knee a little bit of support, and that might help relieve some tension in that knee. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, relax everything. Chill out. Try to extend your arms to either side. If you have the room for this, you can try to let your hips drop from one side to the next and just let the hips relax. Let the low back get a little bit of a stretch, and that'll give us a couple of seconds to relax before we get into the next pigeon. Sorry, the next figure 4 stretch. Whew. Let's get into the figure 4 stretch. We're going to cross the leg on the other side over. We're going to reach your hand through the triangle and around. We're going to pull that leg in towards our chest. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings on the inside of the leg. You're going to feel it in the glute on the side here. And keep on pulling that leg in. Breathe. Pull that leg in some more. Breathe. And we're ready to start. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Again, if you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure in your knees, you can wrap your elbow around that knee, help pull it in towards you. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Keep on pulling that leg in. If you're just chilling, you're about to fall asleep or something is too relaxing, you're not pulling hard enough. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, relax. Lay back down. Let your hips drop from side to side. Get that low back stretched out. Technically, I guess there's a little bit more thoracic rotation. If both your shoulders are down on the ground and your hips are rotating. Whew. once you've done those, you're feeling a little bit more relaxed. It's time for our fifth and final stretch. We're moving on into some side splits. Whew. Before we do that, I'm gonna look at the chat real quick and see how things are going. We have 99 plus messages. Okay, hold on. Whew. Care with Viv says, this is great. Awesome. I'm glad you like the life. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering on the floor that we got to do to stretch out, to move a little bit better, a little bit easier. So, that's what this live is all about. Betty asks to do the bow pose. Yes, I will add it in at the end. Don't worry. I will not forget. Let's see, anything else in here? No, I think we're good. I said there's 99 new messages. That's because every single time somebody likes the live, I get a little notification, or somebody has followed, I get a notification. So they kind of pile up. It's not just the comments that you might be seeing. When I say there's 99 things popping up, I'm not just grossly exaggerating the comment count. Fred Master on YouTube says, do you also do martial arts? I do not do martial arts. It'd be awesome if I did. I am currently traveling a bunch and going from place to place, so I am not in a stable enough situation, I feel like, to really get into a practice, especially one where I have to learn from other people, preferably in person. But I like kicking stuff and I like martial arts, so I will look into it. Maybe doing some Muay Thai soon. Okay, let's get into some side splits. Come on up, back into standing. Let's talk about safety for a second. When we're doing some side splits, we're going to end up eventually in some positions that kind of look vaguely like this, right? A lot of the time, we'll have our hands down on the ground in some form of position that looks kind of like this, too. We'll be shifting our weights back and forth, trying to get into a comfortable position. At some point, though, we're going to stick our butts back. We're going to stick them into the ground, and we're going to be shifting our weight. And it's pretty likely that at some point you'll lose your balance and you'll kind of start slipping and you'll fall backwards. All right. If you're already low enough to the ground, it's not going to be the end of the world. You're only falling a couple inches to the ground. But if you're higher up in the air and you're trying to figure out your position, you got like 2.5 feet to fall into the ground. If your butt slams into the ground, it's really going to be quite uncomfortable and it's going to be a little bit scary. So I recommend that you do all of our side splits in front of a wall. In general, 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall, so that if you start losing your balance and you start falling backwards and you go whoosh, your butt gets stopped by the wall. You only fall so far. Doesn't hurt. Everything is a-okay. Cool? So, long story short, stand 8 to 12 inches in front of a nice stable wall. If you have a couch, if you have a bed or something else that you can fall into, that also works. You might not be able to stay stable. You'll just fall backwards into it, and then you'll be perfectly fine. So that's okay too. But I recommend the wall. Cool? 8 to 12 inches is usually about 1 step or 2 steps for most people. And we're ready to begin. Let's get into some side splits. For the side splits, we're opening up our legs decently wide. Does not have to be uncomfortable in the hips. If you want, you can try and get to the point where it's starting to get a little bit uncomfortable and go, oh, okay. And take note of what that distance is. From here, bring your legs in slightly so that it's not uncomfortable. We're going to fold forward. Bring your belly button down to the ground. All right? Boom. If this looks like we're doing the pancake stretch, that is absolutely, basically 100% correct. So, from here, I want you to try your best to put your hands on the ground. If you can't reach, you can try to elevate your hands with something, maybe yoga blocks, maybe a stool, maybe a stack of textbooks. But when you're leaned forward like this and you're folded forward, you should be able to get into a wider stretched position, because when you're folded forward, your thigh bones and your hip bones are in a better relationship. So you might be able to get a little bit deeper. So if you can get a little bit deeper and you can put your hands on the ground, do that. If you can't and you need an additional little bit of support, that's okay. From here, we are going to externally rotate the legs. All right, what does that mean? That means we're going to take our feet, notice the feet, from this foot down position. We're going to rotate the whole entire leg so that the heel is down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. All right, when we do this, we're rotating the whole entire thigh bone further back in our hip socket, and we're keeping it from smashing into some other parts of our hip structure, our hip bones. And that means we'll be able to get into a deeper side split. Cool? From here, when you've got both feet pointed up, both your toes, both sets of toes pointed up, want you to try your best to walk your hands back towards your hips. If you're using a stool, if you're elevating your hand, you might have to instead sort of pull your body towards your hands instead. And when you do that, more of your body weight is going to be closer to your legs. It's going to be making your side split feeling more intense. And that's it. That's our whole thing. We are in some side splits. From here, this is all optional. You can do a little wiggle from side to side, see if you can get a little bit deeper into the stretch by breaking the friction, holding your feet from sliding back. And we're ready. 30 seconds, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. You might notice at some point that if you lean your weight a little bit further forward, you'll feel more of a stretch in the inner thighs. If you lean your weight a little bit further back, you'll feel it a little bit more in your hamstrings, in the back of your legs. You can experiment with that. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. And then if you also focus on folding really far forward, we're basically at a pancake. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that is it. Walk your hands forward. Oof. Bring your legs in underneath you. Kneel for a second. Chill, relax, let the hip muscles, let the leg muscles recover from that insane stretch. And breathe. Chill. Relax. Whew. I see a huge comment over here on YouTube, so I'm going to pop into the chat real quick. But, what do we say? All right, because the muscle you just stretched is for the chuggy sidekick. Ooh. Yeah, a lot of the muscles that we'll be working on are going to be directly related to kicking. We're mostly working on flexibility. We're not working on so much strength building in these positions. So, you know, it's not designed to be powerful and explosive and kick. I'm just trying to get a little bit more flexible. But it'd be awesome if I could do those crazy kicks where you stick your leg and kick bottles off of the top of your head. That would be insane amounts of flexibility and strength. I would love that. I'm not anywhere close. So yeah. But thank you for the comment. All right. Oh, we just got out of our first side split stretch. We've got a couple of seconds to relax and chill. What I want to do next is have you shake out all of the tension in your body and try your best to relax. All right. What we just did was put a whole bunch of tension into our legs, into our hips, going and fighting the stretch. Now we want our legs to be relaxed so that we can be as relaxed as long as possible for our next side split. All right. Shaking it out. Looks a little bit like this. I want you to imagine you just got out of a swimming pool and you're flicking water off of your toes. All right, you're just whipping the water as far as you can, trying to dry off your feet. And when you do that, your ankles should be relaxed, your calves should be relaxed. You're just flicking water off of your legs. To get to the end position that we're trying to get to, I want you to just drop the knee down and flop around and chill. You really don't need that many seconds in that type of position. 5 to 10 seconds should be more than enough for most people. So just commit to flopping and shaking and relaxing and letting the ankle fly everywhere. Let the calves relax. And that should be good. We're going to do a little bit more movement here to help relax some of these hip muscles that we just used quite a bit in that side split position. And I want you to lean all of your weight into one side. I want you to sort of drop your toe, maybe the ball of your other foot down slightly, but all of the weight is in the other leg, right? You can lift this leg at any time, no problems with your balance. And I want you to rotate the leg in and rotate the leg out. In, out. Notice how nothing else in the body is moving. It's just the leg where it connects to our hips, all right? We're bringing it in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. This isn't about maximum range of motion. It's just gentle movement to get these hip muscles that were potentially a little bit tight to chill out and relax. We're going to do the other side. Left leg, all the weight is on it. Other side, ball of the foot is down. We're shaking that leg. If you think this is starting to look like a dance move and you think You want to turn it into something more fun, like some stanky leg and other dance moves. Please add it in, make it fun. We spend so much time struggling and stretching and going and grunting on the floor. The more fun you can make any of the moments, the better it is, the easier it'll be to stay consistent. All right, that is all we got for our in between time. Let's get into side split number 2. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever it is that you are ready to fall into. Hopefully, your butt will slam into the wall and your butt will not slam all the way into the floor. From here, we're opening up our legs decently wide. If they're getting a little bit uncomfortable here in the hips, bring the legs back in. From here, we're folding forward, trying to bring the belly button pointing straight down into the ground. When you are folded forward like this, your legs should be able to open up a little bit further without discomfort, and maybe you'll be able to put your hands on the ground. If you're able to do that, great. If you're not, find something for a little bit of elevation. When you're in this position, I want you to externally rotate your legs. What that means is the foot, we got receipts getting blown around by the fan. When you're in this position, I want you to externally rotate your legs. What that means is from foot down to heel down, toes up, knees up into the air. All right? We're going to do that on both legs. And we're basically in our starting position. Try your best to walk your hands in between your legs as much as you can. And if you need to, you can move your blocks. From here, we're going to do a little wiggle from side to side, see if we can break the friction holding our sticky feet back, and get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Whew. Remember to breathe. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, walk your hands forward, bring your legs in underneath you, and chill, relax, breathe. Oh. That is side split attempt number 2. We're doing 3 of these in total, so we got 1 more to go, and that means we got to do some relaxation in between. All right, so when you're ready, come back into standing. Start shaking out the legs. If you've just joined in somehow in the last 30 seconds or so, shaking out your legs should look something like this. And if you aren't quite sure how to get into it, if you're not sure if you're doing it right, I want you to imagine you're flicking water off of your toes, like you just got out of the swimming pool, you just walked out of the beach, your legs are dripping water down your toes, you want to flick the water as far as you can, you're going whoosh, whipping it as far as possible. And when you're trying to whip your leg out, the fastest way to do it is to have your leg be relaxed as possible. So your ankle is relaxed, it's floppy around, your calves are relaxed, there's almost no tension. And we want to maintain that lack of tension while we shake out our legs and shake out our body. Drop the knees, chill them out, relax, and flop. Floppa, 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 flop. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And we're going to do the same thing for the hips. All right? All the weight on one side. Drop the toe, ball the foot down on the other. Bring that knee in and out, and in and out, in and out. Again, almost all of the movement is coming right here where the thigh bone connects to the pelvis, and you're not moving really anything else. Other side. All of the weight is in the standing leg. There's almost no pressure, no weight in the other leg. We're just shaking out some of that tension to relax these hip muscles a little bit. I spent a bunch of time explaining it. You really don't even need that much time. 5 seconds is plenty. Let's go. It's time to get into side split number 3. Ready? Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever you're prepared to fall into. Open up those legs decently wide. If it's uncomfortable in the hips, bring your legs closer together. Fold at the hips. Bring the belly button down towards the ground. If you can, reach your hands down. If you can't, elevate your hands a little bit and See if you can drop deeper into your side split positions. Cool? From here, we're doing the most important part, the external rotation of the leg, which means instead of having your feet down like so, we're rotating them and rotating the whole entire leg bone so that the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. When you do this, you rotate the thigh bone into a different area of your hip socket, and that gives you a lot more space to work on your side splits. All right. From here, we're trying to bring our weight right into our hips or right next to our hips so that we get the maximum amount of our body weight right over our legs, helping us get into a deeper stretch. From here, we're going to do a little wiggle from side to side to see if we can get just a little bit deeper. And that's it. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. If this whole time you've been doing these with your arms completely locked out, experiment with bending your elbows and see if suddenly you feel like the whole entire world is crushing down on your legs. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is it. Walk your hands forward. Bring your legs in slowly behind you. Come into something that may or may not resemble a kneeling position. And chill. Catch your breath. That is our third and final side split stretch. I might do a couple more because earlier today somebody pointed out and asked the question, have you been making a lot of progress in these stretches? And I would argue that I have gotten sort of to the deeper end ranges, and it's starting to take a bit more reps and a little bit more time to make progress. So I'm going to try and incorporate 1 or 2 more stretches at the end after the normal life, mostly for me, but if you want to join in, feel free to do so. Cool? All right. Let's shake out our legs, relax, so you can get back to whatever you gotta do for the rest of the day. We have gotten through pretty much all of the hard stuff in our regular life. So let's shake out the tension one more time. Try to relax those muscles so that your muscles are working well, functioning for whatever else you gotta do today. I hope you've enjoyed the stretching and the practice of consistency so far today, because we're almost done. All right, we're going to change up what we were just doing. Before, we were just letting our legs relax and flop them from side to side. We're going to work on some end range of motion now. All right, we're going to pop into 20% of a squat. We're going to try our best to bring the leg in as far as possible. This is called internal rotation, and we're trying to rotate the hip. We're not rotating the hip. We're rotating the leg in the hip socket and trying to bring that knee in as far as possible. All right, so 20% of a squat, bring that knee all the way in, as far in as possible. You're going to feel a whole bunch of tension here in the side of the hip. You might feel a lot of contraction here on the inside of the leg, and I want you to work really hard to bring that leg in. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, pause. Do the opposite. We're going to open up as far as possible. If you were here doing the butterfly stretch earlier, you've already used your glutes, your outer thigh muscles to open up your legs, to bring your knees into the ground. We're using the same muscles to open up the knee out to the outside right now. All right, we're going to hold this for 5 seconds. 5. Keep going. Open them up as far as you can. Flex those muscles. Feel that stretch here in the inside of the hip. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, one more time. Going back in. Oh, feel that tension right here in the outside of the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ooh. Oh, if you're doing these really intensely, really hard, you might almost feel like your hip is going to cramp up right here in the side, and that is a sign that you're doing these really well. So let's keep going. Open up the hip. Oh, open, 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 open. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, in. One more time. Come on. Keep on bringing that leg in. Try to keep these hips from moving and work on just bringing the leg in here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, oh. Okay, I have absolutely no idea how many of these we've done, but my hips are tired. So we're going to call it here for that side. We're going to move on to the other leg, all right? Once again, we're popping into 20%-ish of a squat. The closer your legs are together, the easier it's going to be. And I want you to really rotate that leg in towards the center of your body and out towards the outside of your body, alternating, all right? Let's go. Bring that leg in. Really focus on bringing the knee in. Feel the tension here on the outside of the hip. Keep on going. Keep on going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, now do the opposite. Open up that hip as wide as you can. Keep on going. Open, open, open. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Go back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. -1, -2. Okay. And back. Open it up. Open, 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 open. Contract those glutes, contract those outer thigh muscles. Really open that hip. Feel the stretch here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. One more inside, and then we'll be done. Bring the knee in. Come on. 5, 4. If you're not feeling it out here in the outside of the hip that's rotating in, you're probably not doing it right. That's okay. It's too late to change now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, man. I think I sweated harder from the hip stuff we did at the end than pretty much the last like 10 minutes of the stretches. Whew. We're doing those in order to help work on that end range of motion, getting some contraction, getting some focus on getting stronger in the more extreme ranges of motion. And as an athlete, they're kind of really important. As a normal person, you might not find them nearly as important, but those are really helpful for opening up your hips so that your hips move a little bit better. Cool? Where am I going with this? I think if your hips are really tired right now, we can go back to doing what we were just doing, shaking out the legs, doing a little wiggle, helping those hips to relax. You might need it now more than ever, or you might feel really good and be like, oh, that was easy, no big deal. Whatever it is, we're ready to move on. The next thing we're going to do is a couple of joint checks. Just make sure everything is moving well and smooth. You should be fine, but it's always good to have a couple of quick checks. All right, we're going to start with some hip circles. And they look a little bit like this. They are just a quick check, sort of moving through a big range of motion to figure out if anything feels a little bit weird. If you have a tight low back, you might feel a little bit of a low back stretch. I always feel a little bit of tension here on the left and right side after the side split, so I like to spend a little bit of time stretching those out with this light lean. And I don't know, I don't have any problems here, but my hip flexors could potentially also be tight. So if you have that, let me know. I just haven't experienced it myself. From here, we're going to do a quick high knee. Raise those knees real quick. We want to make sure that those hip flexors work and contract, and you can lift your legs up. From here, we're going to pop into a bit of a squat. I want you to try your very best to fold forward and bring your chest towards your knees. I want you to bring your knees forward past your toes if you can. And when you do that, you're going to feel a whole bunch of stretch here in the Achilles tendon. Your calves are going to activate. And because you're leaning forward, you're going to have a whole bunch of weight and pressure in your toes, in your feet, trying to keep you from falling forward. So we're really activating a whole bunch of these different muscles in your lower body when we're in this position. And I want you to make it a little bit more hard. We're going to make it a little bit more challenging. We're going to try and do a calf raise from here. I want you to try 1, 2, 3 of these, as many as you'd like. Try to imagine balancing your weight between your big toe and your pinky toe. That'll help to keep you a little bit more stable. And if you're able to do those, you're able to do those gracefully. You're able to come out of the squat nice and easy. We've made sure that our toes are working well with our feet, with our ankles, with our calves, with our knees, with our hips. And your lower body has gone through pretty much the major movement patterns, so it should be good to go. Cool. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency with me today. If you don't know already, we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work so that we can move a little bit better, so we can have some new cool skills. And the number one thing I care about is consistency. The workout is designed so that it's not so intense you can't do it every single day. And for that reason, we do this live every day at 9 p.m., Monday through Sunday. It's not 9 p.m. right now. It's currently 9 a.m. Eastern. And that's because on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, we do the lives at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So to recap, 9 p.m. every single day, Monday through Sunday, to practice consistency. And then on the weekends, as a special bonus, because people don't have to work as frequently, 9 a.m. to get some bonus, great way to start the day type energy going for you. From here, where am I going with this conversation? We do this every day to build consistency. We try to build a little bit of community. It's really hard to sit down and work on stretching, especially if you're not working towards a martial arts goal, for example, for my YouTube friend, or if you're not working towards something particularly useful in your daily life, it might be a little bit hard to sit there and be like, oh yes, I love stretching and I love doing these really painful exercises. So we try to make it a little bit more fun. We try to make it a little bit more enjoyable. We try to help you stay a little bit more consistent by showing up every day, sending and bringing good energy to the live. Hopefully you're able to, and I'm able to, take that good energy, that good vibes, and we can stay consistent and make a whole bunch of progress towards better hip mobility, towards deeper side splits. Cool? That's the spiel. I am crawling over back to the camera. I think I saw a whole bunch come in on YouTube. I'm going to take a quick look at what is going on. Oh, we have a whole bunch of people on. And I'll also look at TikTok shortly. But I do also have to do a boat pose and potentially more side splits. So I've got a lot of stuff to do. I'm scrolling to the bottom of the chat real quick on both to see what's going on. Betty has asked for the boat pose again. And I'm scrolling. Care with Viv says this is great. All right, I think that is all of the... Oh, hey, Ganowski, welcome back. It's good to see you. Ganita says, I'm still in the butterfly against the wall. Have you been in the butterfly for like the last 40 minutes? I don't know when we get to the butterfly, but that feels like a really long butterfly. We got an emoji username. Sid Renram says, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the live. All right, I think I've looked at basically all the messages on TikTok, so I'm gonna look at the messages on YouTube real quick, and we'll respond to those real soon. Let's see. Fred on YouTube says, all right, because the muscle you just stretched is for the yap chagi side kick. I assume that sounds pretty Korean. I assume this is Taekwondo related. Very cool. I'm stretching for middle splits for quite a long time now. My plan is 4 times stretching, so 4 days, and 1 day rest. But when my muscles are hurting, which is normal, I think, do I just continue? My full warm-up is 2 minutes horse stance, legs swinging, front to front, side to side, 1 minute single leg hamstring and other side, and 1 minute both on the ground, quick stretch in quads. Okay, Fred. In my experience, because I do this live every single day, this exact show pretty much every single day, and on the weekends I do it twice a day. So I get, what is that, nine of this workout a week. It is very, very normal for my hamstrings to be quite tense and quite tight and not fully recovered. So I think I might have enough personal experience to actually talk about this. A lot of the time, it's just a little bit of soreness, and once I get started and once I get through the warm-up, I can reach just as far as usual, and I can even potentially get deeper. So if you're experiencing that level of discomfort, where if you did the proper warm-up and you set up properly, you're able to get into a nice deep stretch anyways, then I think you can keep going. But if you are noticing that it's harder and harder and harder and harder for you to get deeper into the stretch, you should probably pause and take more rest days. That's probably a sign that your muscles need a little bit more relaxation, a little bit more recovery, rather than more intensity and more reps. Yeah, I hope that helps. But you have a really thorough warm-up, and it sounds painful. The real Batman. Hey, welcome back. says, hi, I was just scrolling and saw your live video. Hey, welcome back. It's good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Fred Master says, does it make a difference if my feet are flat on the ground while stretching and pointing forward, or do you like pointing side and up? Yo, I didn't know that. I'll integrate that. Okay, so the way most people's hips are, if you actually, do I have a good example? I have a good example. If you were sitting, right, and we had, imagine I'm just sitting on the ground and your toes were pointing up. It's totally possible for you to do this, right? So your hip is already designed to be able to lift that leg up to the side. I can't hold that for that long. My legs get tired. I don't do enough lifting type training. So when we do that position in this side split, we're basically just trying to get back to that same exact position where you would be if you were seated on the floor, right? When you're seated on the floor, your toes can point up. And you can get really close to still having your toes point up when your legs are open up to the side, right? So with the toes pointing up, that's a lot of the goal. This is not the only way to do the side split. If you focus on, I like to do it this way because you don't have to bend as much. I have an old low back injury that if I spend too much time with my back really bent like this, sometimes it gets achy, it gets irritated. So the other alternative way to do this, which is totally viable, is you can keep your feet flat on the ground, but you need to sort of do this, where you're still folding forward, but you kind of have to bend your back upwards in order to be a little bit more upright, right? That's the main difference. When you're doing the version that I've been talking about, we're basically just sitting back on our butt in this position. If you do the same stretch from here, this is still a side split. If you just look up a little bit, that looks like the position that we're in. Does that make sense? I kind of feel like I explained it really in a confusing way. So I'm gonna try again. The version that I explain, usually in the live, looks a little bit like this. We're sitting back onto our heels, our toes are pointing up, and we're kind of slightly having our butt up off the ground, and our toes are pointing up, right? So this is really quite close to being seated on the ground and just opening up your legs wide, basically. But because we're slightly up and we're leaning forward, we're folding forward and putting pressure into the legs and getting that stretch, right? So when you do the version of the side split training, when your feet are flat on the ground, which is going to be a lot more comfortable for a lot of people, you're basically doing the same thing. You're just rotating 90 degrees, right? So we went, how do I demonstrate this? We're here and our feet are flat, right? And this is the stretch. You can put a huge arch in your back to look up, and this is our stretch, right? This is still the side splits. And if you rotate my body 90 degrees, it's basically this, right? It's essentially the same stretch from a slightly different angle, and you get gravity working on your hips in a slightly different way. So it's a slight variation. So you can do both, but at the end of the day, you gotta maintain sort of that L shape between your hips and your legs. And yeah, that's it. If you try to do the side split without the bend, without this, you're probably, for most people, going to get stuck at some point, and it's going to start getting really uncomfortable here at the hips, right? You need some forward bending for most people. How much depends on how your hips actually work and how they're shaped, and the angle of your thigh bone and how they actually interact with each other. So everybody's amount that they need to fold in order to get into a side split is going to be a little bit different. But for like 99.5%, most people, you're going to have to fold forward to be able to open up your legs into a deeper position. And you can do it with your feet flat, but you're going to have to keep your chest down, or you're going to have to arch your back up quite a bit, or you can sit back into it. It's the same basic stretch, just a slightly different angle. Oh, okay. Man, that was tiring. Fred Master says, "Oh yeah, I understand. Going all out every set isn't a bad thing, right? I mean, really every set, but I only mean the side split stretch sets. I don't think you need to, especially if you're doing 4 sets or 4 rounds a week. So with one main rest day, I assume you're taking the other 2 as rest-ish days where you're not just doing the side splits. I think you could probably do like 2 really intense days and 2 more chill days, like medium days, and that would probably be fine. I don't think you need to go all out 4 days of the week. And on the more gentle days, you might want to just hit 80% of your max and get comfortable in that position. Maybe you want to spend more time in that position. There's actually a lot of different ways to slowly train your full side splits. And it sounds like you're a martial artist. So a lot of them require, or a lot of the more advanced side split and stretching techniques require you to build a whole bunch of strength in each of the positions to get a lot stronger. So if you are working out those muscles 4 times a week and doing all of those sets, it might be a lot to recover from. So if you haven't already, you can check out P and F stretching. P as in potato, N as in Niagara Falls, and F as in falls. P and F. I gotta go figure out foxtrot. Anyways, P and F stretching, or contract relax stretching. It's a slightly more advanced technique than passive relaxing stretching. That is what we're usually doing on the live, and the results tend to come a little bit faster if you're doing that style of stretching, but they hurt a lot more, and you probably need to take a little bit more time off in order to recover from that, because it's basically like a bodybuilding, a lifting workout for the muscles that you're contracting. Cool? All right. We had, I accidentally invited somebody again. I don't know how I keep on accidentally doing that. I hope, oh man. Hi, how you doing? Hi. I accidentally hit the invite button. This was unintentional, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to kick you out. Bye. Sorry. Okay. I promised that we would do a boat pose. So I'm gonna do a boat pose in just a second. Fredmaster08 says, "Are you live every day?" Yes, absolutely. We are live every day, Monday through Sunday, at 9 p.m. Eastern. So what time is that? That is really confusing because right now it's 9 a.m. or it's like 10:20 a.m. Eastern right now. We've been doing this live for about 80 minutes. The last 20 or so minutes have been Q&A. But this is our 9 a.m. time on the weekends. So the normal time is actually at 9 p.m. So if you add like 10 and a half hours to the current time, that's when the normal live is. I hope that makes sense. I know that's super confusing. 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Sunday. Cool? All right, boat pose. I'm not sure why Betty likes the boat pose so much, but she asked for it, and I'm happy to build it in because realistically, I need to work on my L-sits, and I've been really lazy about them. So boat pose is a very similar style of position. If you do Pilates, if you do Pilates, maybe possibly if you do a little bit of yoga, this is relevant for you. What we're doing is we're trying to lean back, keep that core very tight and strong. Take some shallow breaths. If you take really big, relaxing breaths, you'll lose tension in your body and you'll round and you'll start falling all over the place. So keep that back straight, maintain a tight core, and try and lift your legs off the ground. If you can't do that, you can try with one leg. You can try with 2 legs. You can try to lift and drop and lift and drop. But aim to try and get both your legs off the ground. All right? What's happening here is a combination of a whole bunch of different muscles. Your core should be working, but your hip flexors and I think these are called the rector femoris in your thighs are working to help lift the legs up and pull them in towards your chest. So from here, we are just chilling. This is like a middle level boat pose. What we're going to do next is we're going to slowly extend one leg out in front, lift it up, really feel those muscles in the hip, in the core working. Cry a little bit about it if you want, and If you can, bring both legs up. Really focus on contracting the core, contracting the hip flexors, pulling these leg muscles in. Keep everything nice and tight. Hold, 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 hold. And I'm tired. Okay. That is boat pose for today. Cool? All right. What else we got in the chat? All right. Thanks, man. Keep it up. Thank you, Fred Master. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out on YouTube. Thanks for engaging in the chat and participating in trying to build the community. I appreciate it. What else we got? What else we got? I'm scrolling around on the TikTok live and I am not seeing any other comments. So I think we are ready to wrap up. If I have somehow missed one of your comments, feel free to throw it back in the chat right now, and hopefully I'll see it before I close out. Otherwise, we're ready to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency with me today. I'm sorry the cameras are shaking. I got a little kitty tripod off a desk today for the last couple of days, and it's not very stable when I'm trying to scroll up the chat. Thank you so much for coming in, practicing consistency with me. I hope you enjoyed the workout. I hope you're feeling a little bit more relaxed and maybe feeling super proud of yourself for getting the workout done so early in the day that you weren't maybe expecting to do. Thank you for hanging out. And I hope you enjoyed the live enough that you'll consider coming back. We got another live in about 10.5 hours. That is our normal live time at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we do that Monday through Sunday. So if you need help practicing a little bit of consistency, you need to work on that hip mobility, maybe you want to work on some skills to pick up toddlers off the ground, or, eventually get a side split because they look cool. Those are all really good reasons to keep coming back. I hope you do. What else? I make other content, trying to integrate a little tiny bite-sized piece of fitness into your daily lives. It's usually not about stretching. Actually, the only thing stretching related that I do is this live. Most of the other content is a little bit more skill-based, tiny bite-sized workouts that you can integrate into your day. So feel free to check out on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, those pieces of content. If you hit follow, if you hit subscribe, I'm sure they'll just pop up in your feed. So you don't have to work that hard either. Hit follow, hit subscribe. If you miss a live and you want to somehow practice consistency, all of these videos are recorded and uploaded to YouTube, and the account is called @SplitsOnTheSide. So you can go and rewatch an old version. Sometimes the apps will be a little bit glitchy, and maybe it'll be a little bit confusing, or I respond to a lot of comments in the chat on both TikTok and YouTube at the same time, and you won't be able to see that chat in the recording of the live, so it might be a little bit confusing. If that is not something that you like, we have a no talking, super fast version of this workout also on YouTube. It's not a live, it's just a regular old YouTube video that's wide and not long. And it's about 15 minutes. We go through every single stretch, every single exercise, literally with zero explanation, just going through it as fast as possible with 30 seconds in each stretch. So if that's what you want to help you stay consistent, go check that out. Cool. Again, the username is the exact same as it is on Instagram. It's @SplitsOnTheSide. We are all about getting a little bit of fitness in on the side, because it's not the main thing we do. We're not trying to be fitness influencers. We have other stuff to do. We're doing splits on the side. Okay. Thank you again for coming in. I'm ready to wrap up the chat. I'm going to take one last look at everything, then I'm going to close out. I am not seeing anything else in the chat, so I think it's time to go. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. And now, closing.